Do you want to manage your money like the top 1%? The secret isn't about how much you earn, it is about how you use it. I'm revealing the 70-20-10 rule, which allows anyone to grow wealth and still enjoy your life guilt-free, whether you're earning $50,000 or $500,000. I was able to retire at 41 using these rules. First, 70% of your monthly income will go towards your needs. Now, what are those needs? These are mortgage payment or your rent payment, your car payment, your credit card payment, maybe childcare, utilities, groceries. And unfortunately, going out with your friends on the Friday night or buying a new iPhone every year, those are not the needs, those are wants. Say your take-home salary is $100,000 per year. That is around $8,300 per month. So you should be spending less than $5,830 towards your needs. During this step, you're ensuring you are living below your means. If you're exceeding the 70% budget, it is time to go back to the drawing board and figure out where you are spending more. More often than not, it is either mortgage or the car payment or the credit card payment, which is exceeding your budget. Often these are the main culprits for a person to live paycheck to paycheck and get them stuck in the debt snowball. My friend Brandon invited me for a Thanksgiving dinner last month. He has a reputation in his neighborhood as a regular guy who drives an old Honda and lives in a modest house. After the dinner, Brandon's niece noticed his $40 wristwatch. She came and said, "Uncle Brandon, why don't you go for the latest smartwatch or a luxury watch? I think you can afford it." Brandon smiled and replied, "The $40 watch is showing the same time as the $4,000 one. Why spend more? I'd rather invest that money and let it grow." Brandon is a multimillionaire who owns multiple businesses. He lives by Warren Buffett principle, price is what you pay and value is what you get. He always prioritizes his needs over his wants. There has been a constant debate whether to buy expensive gadgets or invest that money and let it grow to X amount in 20 years. I believe that's the wrong way to look at it. You should look at what value it brings to your life. For example, an Apple Watch. It tracks your steps, workouts, and heart rate and reminds you to stand up if you have been sitting too long. You can set goals, timers, alarms, and calendar events to keep your schedule on track. Plus, it offers breathing exercise to help you relax. So if it adds more value to your health and productivity, go buy it. Instead of avoiding small expenses which brings value to your life, you should focus on bigger expenses like a brand new car or a large house. A brand new car depreciates 60% in value in the first 3 years. Rather, buy a used one. If you're buying your first house, maybe go buy a townhouse. Why buy a 5-bedroom single-family house for a family of 2? See, I have lived by these rules and they have been extremely beneficial for me in the long run. Next is the 20% of the 70-20-10 rule. You should save and invest at least 20% of your take-home pay. Before you start investing, it is time to fund your emergency fund. As per a recent study, 60% of the Americans are extremely uncomfortable with the level of emergency fund they have. 40% of the Americans can't even come up with $400 if they need for an emergency. Few years ago, our HVAC system broke down in the middle of the winter. We had to go run and buy a portable heater just to keep the house warm. The replacement of the unit costed $7,000 to $8,000. Thank goodness we had emergency fund to cover this cost. Otherwise, I would have fallen into the trap of credit card debt and the never-ending interest payment which comes with it. So how much you need for emergency fund? Say your monthly expenses are mortgage payment or a rent of $2,000, a car payment of $300, a credit card payment of maybe $500, childcare cost, yep, it's expensive but we'll take it $1,000, groceries $400 and utilities $300. That comes to around $4,700 per month. And you need 6 months of emergency fund. So $4,700 multiplied by 6, that comes to around $28,200. That's how much you need for your emergency fund. So you can put in your numbers and come up with how much emergency fund in terms of dollar amount you need. Now, please don't save these funds in your normal savings or checking account because it barely gives you any interest rate. The national average is around 0.1 to 0.4%. That's what you get on your savings. Instead, you should open a high yield savings account, which typically gives around 4 to 5% interest rate. So if you keep your $28,000 in a normal savings account, you would earn an interest of around $140 per year. But if you put that in the high yield saving account, you would have around $1,140 by end of the year in interest. That's almost $1,000 more compared to the normal savings account. Once your emergency fund is set up, it is time to invest. See, I live off my passive income since I retired early, so I know how this works. When you start investing, it is crucial to take advantage of the 401k plan. When I started working a full-time job, I started investing in 401k right away. I invested 3% of my salary and my employer matched with the 3%. So just for simplicity, say I was earning $100,000. So I used to invest $3,000 and my employer used to match it with another $3,000. That's free money. Later, my employer offered even better deal. For the next 3% after my initial 3%, they started matching with 1.5%. So if I invested 6% of my salary, that is $6,000, my employer matched with $4,500. That's $10,000 500 saved in my 401k for just $6,000 out of my pocket. You don't pay any tax on the money you invested now. You will be taxed when you take that money out during your retirement. Please don't leave this free money on the table. You can contribute up to $23,000 per year towards your 401k. Another retirement investment is Roth IRA, where your money is taxed before you invest, but the money goes tax-free. That means when you take it out, there is no tax. You can contribute up to $7,000 per year towards your Roth IRA. Important point to note, when you invest in 401k or Roth IRA, you have to choose a vehicle or a fund where your money will be invested. Make sure you choose it and choose it wisely. Once you took benefit of your 401k and your Roth IRA, it is time to start investing in index fund. Index fund is nothing but a basket of stocks which tracks major index like S&P 500, Dow Jones and Nasdaq. If you buy one unit of index fund, say S&P 500, your money will be diversified in top 500 US companies. I have done a detailed analysis of the difference between mutual fund, index fund and ETFs and which one is better for you. You can click here to watch that video. If you have a full-time job, you have family to take care of and you have life to live outside of your computer screen, I would suggest investing in index fund because picking and investing in the right stock is almost an impossible task. Once you start dollar cost averaging in an index fund, the compounding will show its magic and your net worth will explode. And now, the last 10%. You can smash that like and subscribe button, but don't smash that entire money jar just for fun. Money isn't just for saving, it is for living. And the top 1% knows that. They set aside a part of their budget for guilt-free spending because they understand balance is the key. Take 10% of your income each month to enjoy your life. Treat yourself to a nice dinner, a weekend getaway, or something that makes you happy. This isn't money wasted. This is an investment for your well-being. When you allow yourself these small joys, you stay motivated to stick to your financial plan. The goal is not to die with a huge bank account. It is to live a life that feels rich, fulfilling, and meaningful, and building the wealth along the way. If you are feeling motivated enough, I challenge you to take this 60-day money challenge. It's a great way to give yourself a financial detox.